So it's a variable speed zoom control. Generally, the more you push it one way or the other, it increases the speed, which is typically true of the built-in rocker switch, the one that we use when we're shooting single camera. I really like the rocker zoom a lot, actually. Variable speed, depending on how far over you push it. The other thing is so the focus is here. I zoom in on the camera, and I focus it here with the ring, and then I pull the shot to the one that I want. In the viewfinder, now the viewfinder is also adjustable. So I told you I'm 6'8", which is not true. I'm about 6'1". Let's actually push this out just a little bit, like this. So I'm actually clearly having a hard time seeing this. So I don't want to break it. I don't want to bend it. I want to just loosen it, right? There's a knob right there, finger tight, finger loose. Beautiful. And now I have control, and I can see what the camera's seeing. You'll also see a guideline around the image. You'll see here, like I said, finger tight, finger loose. Tighten up a little bit more. But the guideline, that is your safe shooting area, and you're going to make sure that everything is in the safe, we call it the safe title area. So you want to just keep everything in that side of that square, which is actually not a bad idea. The great thing with this particular camera, too, is there are other features, too. I don't know if you can see that. I can set this to, there's my zoom in. There's a button here that allows me to do the front one, a crash zoom out, right? And I can actually adjust that speed as well. So it's nice that you have variable controls on this particular camera, and the zoom is your friend. But remember, too, we don't typically want that sort of quick pull-out. We generally want a nice slow move. See how the camera's slow and gentle. And when you're doing your camera, always two hands. Always two hands. Always two hands. Because if you're doing it one hand, it's just not the same stability. Two hands gives me better control. The other thing that you will notice is I have the tilt lock off. So the pan lock is off. We leave the pan lock off for a couple reasons. Let's say in the studio, if somebody is walking by and they bump into the camera, the pan lock could either cause damage to the camera or it could hurt them. But this way, it's a safety thing. And by the way, the teleprompter has awoken, so I'll show you what that looks like. It's not feeding a signal from the control room. In the ancillary workshop, you'll see, when we turn on the teleprompter, you'll see the words there. And that is not indicative of how big and chunky the font is. It just tells me that the monitor is on. So this is pan left or right. We leave the pan lock off, but what we do want to change is the tilt lock, okay? So if you look at what I'm trying to do here with the camera, it's got a hard lock on it. The camera is not tilting up and down. So what do I do about it? Off to the side here, and let's move you. Come on closer. Whoa, a little closer. Right here, you're going to see a silver circle, and there's a lock on it. So that's the tilt. The hard lock is on. So I want to release it. There's a release button on the back around here. So without crushing my clipboard, you can see right in here. So what I'm going to do is push that back button. And again, I'm going to keep my hand on the camera so that once I release the lock on the tilt, it will give me control. So I'm going to push that. Put the pen, push it, and release it. Sometimes you have to, I'll show you how to lock it. Push it in, and there's like a notch, and see it's released, right? And I'm going to lock it in like that. Now, the minute I released it, the camera wants to fall forward, and that's why, one of the reasons why I want to make sure I keep both hands on it. The camera is front heavy because that big teleprompter head is pulling it forward. Often you can balance the cameras a little better by pushing it back off the head of the camera. You can see this is the tripod head here, this is the pedestal, and this is the head of the camera. And you can adjust your tilt and pan tension as well if you want. And actually, let's just put the hard lock back on. And there's also, I'll show you. So the hard lock is here. I release the hard lock. But let's say I don't want to do a hard lock. I'm just still, I've got stuff to do throughout the course of this the class. I can use this is my tilt lock here. So tilt lock, release, tilt lock, lock in, okay? And then when I'm finished my production at the end of the day, because we don't want to keep tension on this controller, I'm going to level it up, push the button in, and the hard lock is set on the camera.